It's the Daily Dog.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Daily Doug. Thanks for hanging out with me today. It is a new week, and I am excited for a new week of Daily Doug episodes for some listening and some great tunes. If you have not already heard, I have made a bold choice this week. I have chosen for the first time to hand over the reins of the song selections to my little brother. So it is a guest DJ week here on the Daily Doug. It is DJ Dan making the selections. And my brother has been a great supporter of the channel and of what I've been doing here. And this was my way of saying thank you. And let's see you give it a stroll and see what you come up with. So for Metal Monday, Dan has selected Blackened by Metallica. So this track is off of And Justice for All. This was the band's fourth studio album and their first with bass player Jason Newsted after the death of Cliff Burton. As I was reading in this morning, I noticed that this is the only track on this entire album for which Newsted shares writing credit. So I found that interesting. I also, as I was reading in this morning, realized there's a bit of controversy regarding the sound of this album. As I was reading regarding the final mix, some people have mentioned that it was sterile or a bit dry, but most people noticed the relative lack of the presence for the bass guitar. And there are several reasons that are given in the literature that I read, but I want to hear it for myself and see what we can come up with. I also found this alternate version, this alternate mix that's available on YouTube, and it's called And Justice for Jason. So I haven't heard that one either. I think what they did was just turned up the bass in the mix. But I'm going to listen to the original studio recording and see what I think, and then we might go into and see what they did for the other version. As I looked into the lyrics this week, they're not very hopeful for the future of humanity. Y'all, they're quite pessimistic about the future of our world, and we shall see what this sounds like as we go. So let's strap in and see what the guys in Metallica have for us. This is Blackened off of And Justice for All. Here we go. Also notice that Lady Liberty on the album cover is being torn down and being torn down by human activity. So maybe something that they're talking to us about. That's a tonic, that's E. Sol, lay, te, do. Woo! Huh. Stops and starts. Three, four, 1, 2. I don't think it's in 3. It's in 6, right? 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I think it's 4 plus 2. And not just 2 measures of 3, the way that they've got it built. I'm going to stop it for a second. The first thing that I'm noticing, it's at a fast enough pace. I haven't noticed the relative lack of bass yet. It's relatively heavy and the guitars are relatively low anyway. But what I'm noticing is that Lars doing the like the downbeat and then the snare on the offbeat, it sounds like he's rushing. And so like by the time they get to in these little sections where he's going pop 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 pop, right? If you rush that's going so fast, if you get a little bit on top of that beat, the snares, by the time they get to like the second phrase of that section, sound like to me that he's migrated to doing the snares on the downbeat instead of on the offbeat. So that's my critique so far, is that the drums are rushing. Off we go. Not gonna say anything. That was fine. Nothing left to kill. Never seen before. Breathing nevermore. Wow. They're talking about some major destruction. James's vocals, he just has the perfect voice for metal music, doesn't he? Nice tempo changes. There's some stops and starts. So even though it's very heavy, it gives you some different sounds to clue into throughout the piece. Down a half step, back to E. Agitation, annihilation, mutilation. The riffs are very cool. I can understand where the bass might be there, but I'm curious as if the bass is just doing something different, or if it's just doubling the riffs. I'll be curious to see that. I do want to go into the other one and see. Population laid to waste. Damn. Mother Nature, right? Little asymmetrical meter there, a little hitch beat. That's cool. These are more riff based than like, there comes the solo. I was gonna say I haven't heard really solo stuff, just riff based, but here comes the solo stuff. The sound of the drums is a little sterile. I'll give you that. The snare sounds like it's just sort of tinning a little bit. It's like there's no ambiance to it. It's very sort of tight in this way. A riff on the chorus a little bit, sounds like. Do the drums. Bop, 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 bop. Now the that pop, 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 right? That's what I'm talking about. New riff. Just kind of over E. Millions of our years in minutes disappears. I think they're talking about nuclear weapons. Huh. Is he trying to switch the drums? Is that on purpose? The exit of humanity, color our world blackened. It's like, it's our own damn fault, y'all. That's a heck of an introduction to an album. Wow. Okay. While I'm hot here, I want to listen to a little bit, maybe not the whole thing, of this other version. This is put out by a YouTube channel called Project Metallica. That's a different intro. That's a descending bass line, not a rising bass line. They're doing it backwards. Huh. Where'd it go? Now it's back to the normal progression. Intriguing. Has the band sanctioned this, or is this just like fans redoing stuff? I haven't touched my my audio, but it sounds like a little bit lower in sound quality. Okay, there's the bass. For now, it just sounds like he's following that riff. It doesn't make much, honestly, it doesn't make that much of a difference for me, musically. It just reinforces the riff at a lower, lower octave, a little bit more presently. But I can understand where Metallica fans might have been expecting this big bass sound, and they just didn't hear it and reacted to that. Interesting. Well, there you go. The thing that I find as interesting as anything is just the point of view of this song and a lot of other songs that I have heard from metal artists. It's a dichotomy of sorts, because in my naivete, I always heard music like this quick, fast-paced, hard-edged metal music as aggressive, as potentially violent, but that's really not what a lot of these folks are saying in their songs. It's harsh and it's heavy because of the stuff that they're talking about, but they're not advocating war, and they're not advocating conflict and kicking each other's asses all over the place. They're advocating for no more war and less conflict and better stewardship of the earth. And they're doing it with these aggressive sounds. It's one way to try to fight that argument. But for a person like me who had always heard that stuff, and I think, oh, aggressive, they're maybe ready to fight, thinking that, or not realizing what they're trying to fight for. And going back and listening to these songs, these heavier songs, has really opened my eyes and my and improved my appreciation for this style of music and for what these artists have been putting out for many, many years. So excellent. DJ Dan, that was an interesting little ride on a Monday. So thanks to Dan for offering that. And I hope all of you enjoyed that little trip. This is something, this early Metallica is stuff that I don't know a whole lot about. I kind of noticed or started paying more attention to them when the Black Album came out. So earlier than that, I really don't know that much. So, but it was fun to dive into Blackened from And Justice for All. Thanks everybody for being with me, and we will see you next time on another edition of the Daily Doug.